Welcome students. In this video we will discuss the impact of LPG policies, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization on the Indian economy. So what were the effects of the reforms that took place in 1991 and which were continued till today? The first is economic growth. We have achieved economic growth in different sectors with the help of new economic policy and economic reforms. It was observed that the rate of GDP, which was around say 5.6% during 1980 to 1991, this increased to an average of 6.4% in the next decade, that means between 92 and 2001, and further it increased to around 8% during 2016-17. So there was a time around 2003 or 4 when the GDP growth rate was even more than 10%. So on an average 8% of GDP growth rate was observed and has been observed in the last 10-15 years. So this has been very good for the economy as compared to around 4 or 5% of growth rate which was observed between 1947 and 1990. Now these were the growth which were actually seen in industrial sector and services sector. It was observed that the agricultural sector remained stagnant. That means the growth in agricultural sector did not achieve so much heights. You can see in service sector, the increase in growth rate was up to 9.6%, and that is why today the service sector is the largest sector in Indian economy out of the three sectors. So in the table you can see agriculture sector in 2002-7 and in 2016-17 what was the contribution of different sectors on GDP. So this has been the change. Industry from 8.9 to 5.6%, services 9.3% in 2002-7, then in 2015 and 16. Now second is foreign investment and foreign exchange reserve. The effect of new economic policy was there was large increase in foreign investment and the foreign exchange reserves of our country increased. So because of foreign direct investment FDI and foreign institutional investment, so we have to understand about this also, what is FII and what is FDI. Try to understand this. Foreign direct investment is investment made by foreign companies. So they directly, when they invest their money in the Indian economy, in factories and in setting up business in India, that is foreign direct investment. But when foreign finance companies like foreign insurance companies, foreign banks, so these companies, when they invest in the stock market of India, and the institutions are called foreign institutional investors, FII. So FII inflows are foreign institutional investment in the equities of Indian companies or shares of Indian companies. So similarly you can say that LIC of India or Indian banks are DII, that means domestic institutional investors. So investors in the form of institution, they are institutional investors. And now let us see what has been the growth of foreign exchange. So in 1991 the foreign exchange reserve was around 6 billion US dollar, and now it is 292 billion US dollar at the end of March 2003. So you can see what has been the change from 6 billion to 292 billion. It is only because of this new economic policy and economic reforms. Now India is recognized as a big economic power. It is one of the largest economies of the world, 7th largest today, and it is the fastest growing economies of the world among the BRIC nations, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. These are the top 5 countries having highest growth rate. So India has been among them because of these type of reforms. Then what about export sector? After reform, the export was satisfactory. There has been increase in export as compared to imports. Exports have grown faster. We have been exporting auto parts, engineering goods, textile and IT software. India is very famous around the world for IT industry. So cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, these have been developed only because of software. Then transition from monopoly to competitive market structure. There was a time when there was monopoly in many sectors. For example, in car market there was monopoly of Maruti. In telecom industry there was monopoly of BSNL. So these type of monopolies have been broken because of new economic policy and competition, and this has benefited the common consumer. In case of television also, Onida had a monopoly in Indian television industry. Today that has been broken, and today LG, Samsung and other companies are selling their electronic products. And the companies are responding according to consumers' choice. They are giving priority to consumers and providing better goods at cheaper price. Check on fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit has decreased. Fiscal deficit, as we discussed, is the deficit in the budget. So if the government has a budget of suppose 2000 crore and its income is 1800 crore, the deficit is 200 crore. So it was around 8.5% in 1991, and this fiscal deficit has now come down to around 4%. So normally there is a deficit of 1, 2 or 3%. So we can be in a satisfactory position that the fiscal deficit has decreased. Now government can spend more money on public expenditure. Check on inflation. Inflation rate has declined due to this type of policy, economic reforms, because at that time it was around 13 to 14%, and now today the inflation rate is around 4 to 5%. So there has been satisfactory control on inflation also. Now what are the negative impact of LPG policy? Neglect of agriculture. It has been widely talked that India had neglected its agriculture because of this new economic policy. Earlier, India was primarily an agrarian economy. Today, it is also agrarian economy, but contribution of agriculture in the GDP contribution has declined to around 17.4%. It was around 29% in 1991. So we can see there has been sharp decline in contribution of agriculture in our economy because of lack of policies in favor of agriculture. So mainly globalization is focusing on industrialization and services sector, not on agriculture sector. And because the products or agricultural products, many products are imported from other countries, farmers are not finding it satisfactory or profitable to sell in the Indian market or produce in the Indian market. Many people have now shifted their occupation from farming to other occupations. Economic colonialism. Now it is said that the country has achieved a type of economic colonialism. That means now we are a colony of other countries in terms of business or economy. Earlier, it was said that Britishers had made India a colony because physically or geographically we were under control of Britain. In 1947, however, Britain left India, and today India is not a colony of Great Britain, but in terms of economy, we are today dependent on many other countries for our needs. Today, we observe that many electronic products, mobile phones, and many softwares are now supplied by China and Chinese companies. So, it is worth mentioning that we have a system of colonialism by the Chinese companies or China, because we have been weaker and we are not able to develop technology for our own consumers. Then, spread of consumerism. There has been availability of cheap product, electronic product, mobile phones, and many more things, because of which people have now become more towards purchasing things and consuming things. Earlier, this was only possible by higher income people, but the purview has increased, and now many people are only among consumers. So, people try to get money, cheap money, with the help of loan, and cheaper loans have also motivated them to take loans, credit cards, and spend money, and they are financing their expenditures. Today it is happening that even a person is purchasing an electronic product with the help of taking a loan, a personal loan. So these type of things have increased in the last 20 years. Next is non-inclusive growth. Inclusive growth refers to growth in every sector. India has observed that although it has grown in some sectors, infrastructure has become better, but it has not grown in every sector. That is, agriculture is widely neglected, it has not grown, and only services and industrial sector has grown, and mainly it is services sector. And in services sector also, IT, BPO industry, they have grown much. Fifth point, jobless growth. Although Indian economy has grown, GDP growth numbers have increased, but it is observed that we have not been able to garner, or we have not been able to give so much of job to people. So job generation or employment generation have been poor in these years, and particularly government sector, there has been no job. The job all have been produced in the private sector, and particularly unorganized sector. Next is disinvestment. What has been the effect of globalization or new economic policy? That many government companies have been sold to the private sector. This is what is called disinvestment. As we discussed in the last class, the government has sold many industries, and the ownership of government has fallen down by 51% or below 51%. So it is not good in the part of consumers, because the ownership of government, if it is strong, it is the public. That means because they are public sector undertakings, public will be the owner of these industries. So when government ownership is decreasing, public ownership is actually decreasing. So by accepting large companies as partners, government has provided them monopoly situation. So many companies have now become monopolistic in some sectors. For example, in telecom industry, you can observe that Reliance Jio has become a monopolistic industry in telecommunications. So like this, there has been monopoly in some more sectors, and only to fulfill its budget deficit or fiscal deficit, the government is selling the industries to private sector. So what has been achieved in the last 50-70 years by the government, or increase in equity, that is now sold by the government to only fulfill its budget deficit and expenditures, or regular expenditures. It is not creating the assets, rather it is selling the assets to the private sector. So this is all about this chapter, liberalization, globalization, and privatization. In the next class, we will start poverty. Thank you.